Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be Hairy Muppet, and we are going to be casting the second semi-final for the EMS Spring 2013 Cup. This is the clan-based cup where clans send players up against each other to see who is the best clan overall. Now, we cast the first semi-final series already, and that was between Complexity Gaming and Mouse Sports, and Mouse Sports did an excellent job there. The Mouse Sports sent up Hope and Lucifron, and they both managed to win their series of 3 games, series of best of 3 games, and that means that since Mouse Sports won those first 2 rounds, they went on and they are going on to the grand finals. And right now we are going to see which of the other 2 teams in the other 2 semi-finals are going to go up against Mouse Sports in the grand final. Now, I'll explain before I introduce the players. I'll explain the way this thing works. Basically, in a semi-final, in a final, whatever, each team sends up 1 player at a time, and the one player from each team has a best of 3, and that constitutes 1 round. So, for example, in the last semi-final, Hope won 2-0 against Sasquatch. That was their best of 3, and that was round 1. So then they went on to round 2. Lucifron won against QXE 2-1. That was round 2, and because Mouse Sports won the first 2 rounds, they didn't need to go to a 3rd round because the round is also a best of 3. So it's a best of 3 in rounds for the entire semi-final. So that was Mouse Sports. Now in this game, it's the other semi-final, and it is going to be viPro, and he is from the Karont team, and the Karont is actually a Spanish-based team. So that is pretty awesome. Actually, I was reading up, and I believe they're very recently disbanded. It actually says they disbanded before this match was actually run, which I'm not sure I believe, because I guess maybe I really don't know. I really can't say, because you go on the internet and you hear all sorts of weird things. But I would not be surprised if they are disbanded. But it does not matter in this game because they are still going for broke here, and viPro is still going to represent his team and do an awesome job. So there's the Karont team based in Spain, and over here we have Happy, and he is part of the Team Empire clan. Their clan's name is actually Team Empire, and they are a Russian-based clan. So it's going to be Russia versus Spain in a manner of speaking. And here we go, we've got Happy versus viPro. This is game 1 of round 1 of our second semi-final of the EMS Spring 2013 Cup. EMS is short for the ESL Major Series, and we've seen a couple of other things from the ESL previously. They support the Go for SC2 tournament. I've cast a couple of them so far, and they also supported this tournament. So the ESL, that's the European Sports League, given us, or is it European Starcraft League? I always get that confused. Let's go ahead and, oh god, I can never remember. Electronic Sports League, that's what it is. I knew it was something like that. The Electronic Sports League is, I think it is definitely based in Europe though. So that is why I keep getting confused, because it's called Electronic Sports League, but it is based in Europe, which is why I keep calling it the European Sports League. And it's actually based in Germany, according to this wiki article I'm reading. Unfortunately, the sound keeps going off whenever I switch tabs. Otherwise, you would not be able to tell that I'm looking at other pages, but I am, because I do not know all this stuff off by heart. I'm still relatively new to casting, and 1v1 games I'm fine with, but when it comes to teams and clans, and this player came from this team and this team came from that location, it's all a little bit confronting at the start. But I'm getting a hang of it, and what we need to get a hang of right now is how awesome this game is. Now we've got an expansion coming up for each player. Now Happy is lagging a little bit behind here, but only because he had to build an orbital. So the amount of mules he's going to get out of 2 orbitals is more than going to make up for. He's a bit of a slow tech. The Protoss player, viPro, we're just going to call him Pro, I think. Pro is a little bit ahead on harvesters, but he's had the chrono boost advantage for quite a while. I don't think he's going to be much ahead in terms of minerals though, because Happy will have had mules coming down for a fair amount of time now. And what is Happy worried about? He's got Marines moving back here. He may be worried about this Mothership Core. Mothership Core can come in, can do a bit of damage on these SCVs. It's not a huge worry because the Mothership Core's DPS isn't that massive, but yeah, I mean, they're happy he's got it definitely covered. He's got some Marines back here, and he's got the bunker out there, so there's no chance of distracting, having one force sent one way and the other force having the sent the other way, and sort of making the Terran run all over the place, because he's got enough forces to be in two places at once. And there we go. What have we got going down in terms of tech? Not much for the Terran player. I might have expected to see a factory by now. He's into the 7-minute mark, so at least... Oh, there we go. He's not disappointed me. He's got the factory up. Would not be surprised to see a starport coming up now and getting that medevac production started up. I assume he's going for medevacs, triple M, and that's solely based on the number of barracks he has, because there's that many barracks, there's not much else that you really can be going. And meanwhile, the Protoss player, he's got his robo facility up. He's got 3 gateways, and he's going straight for a robo bay. So, there we go. We're looking at Colossus tech coming out. Colossus, of course, an extremely good counter to the triple M. But that will not stop the Terran player from shooting medevacs all over the place. The medevac speed boost, extremely good. I think it's actually called Afterburners or something like that, the official name, but, you know, whatever. Speed boost, you guys know what I'm talking about. And yeah, Colossus, they're great when the Terran army is out on the move, moving across the map. But for drop action, the Colossus, not as good. He needs something he can get in there a lot faster. And what we got? We got the factory moving out here. Looks like he's going to do a bit of scouting, so he is almost going to be sacrificing this factory to see stuff. He is not interested in any sort of factory tech, doesn't want to get tanks, doesn't want to get Hellbats. He's just going in with the triple M medevac, and he's going to see what he can see. Now if we have a look at the income, Protoss player has continued to get his lead out. The Terran player is not too far behind. He's got the mules out, so they're going to be helping him quite a bit. But we're going to have to see which player starts thinking about a third base. Here we've got a third base coming out here. And the Protoss not quite going for it yet. It's a lot safer for Terrans to expand than it is for Protoss, because they can, or they'll at least think about expanding, because they could build the command center back here already. The Terran player, they're going in for a push. There's one Colossus out, but not that many ground units so far. He's going to get an overcharge on the Nexus, some nice force fields to split up the forces. And that is quite scary for that Terran player. He does not want to go ahead, get his forces cut off with a Colossus out there. The Protoss didn't have that much, but yeah, the combination of force fields and the Nexus being overcharged is just a little bit too much for him at that point. The factory is going to move over there, it's going to land. I can't imagine him doing a proxy of any units, except maybe a Thor or something. Might be able to hide some Thor tech. Does he have an armory yet? No, he does not. Assuming this is not overlapping off the edge of the display, I don't think he does. This drop though, the Pro is quite prepared for that drop. He knows that it's coming, he probably saw that with his observer over there. And I would not be surprised if that observer did see it. We got something going on over here. I think this missile turret just popped up and he said, hey guys, there's an observer there. You know, so he's probably been here for a few minutes. So that was a nice spot by that missile turret. And really not much going on there. I don't think this factory's actually got to proxy any units. It's just there to sort of piss off the Protoss player, not let him put the Nexus down. And the good thing is, when the Protoss comes to destroy it, he can just lift it up and go in for some more scouting. And here we go, the force is going away, the medevac's going to come up, but he's already overcharged the Nexus, and those medevacs are going to get chased right away. He's going to drop down some, but he's still got forces over here. So our Protoss player Pro split up his army very professionally here, and he's going to have enough to deal with both these guys. These Marauders are quite chunky, but they are absolutely horrible versus Zealots. And here we go, the factory got to lift up, but it is on fire now. There is no chance of that factory getting away. This guy's getting dropped off to be healed, and this guy's probably going to do the same at this point, some point, but I think he lost a medevac there. And we do see some Vikings coming out. A Terran player, he's doing an excellent counter for the Colossus. He knows the Vikings are the best counter, and he is getting them. Meanwhile, the Protoss player may be deciding, intuitively knowing, that the Terran is going to be going Viking, so he's going to get some Storms out. He's going to go for the other excellent counter for Triple M. And these guys are going to see if they can snipe a Colossus, but they run into a pile of Stalkers instead, and that is not going to be fun for them. Does he have Blink? He does have Blink already. He doesn't have Zealot speed though, so that's something I'd like to see him get quite soon. This many Zealots without speed, it's not going to be that good. He manages to snipe out one Viking there. And our Terran player is going to have to get a bunch more Vikings to be able to deal with these Colossus numbers. There's 2 Colossus out. Generally you want 2 to 3 Vikings per Colossus, just to be able to kill them fast enough so that the Colossus don't just wreck your entire army. Because there's no way to stop them hitting your army. The range for the Colossus is just so massive, so you want to make sure you just kill them as soon as possible, and preferably get a nice flank on them before the Colossus actually start attacking your units. But now the High Templar are out, the Storm is out, and yeah, the Terran, man, if he might have to go Ghost or something to counter those High Templars. You don't strictly need a perfect counter for the High Templar, you just need to be able to soak up the damage with a large amount of Marauders. And he might be able to do that if he just is taken into a very large amount of Marauders. But the Colossus still do a fairly decent amount of damage to Marauders. Man, that is the luckiest medevac in the entire world. 2 damage, man. A probe could have killed it at that point. But he manages to survive and he gets out of there. We've got some nice upgrades on the way for our Protoss player. He's 2-1, he's getting 3 weapons and 2 armor, so he's pretty sweet on the upgrades. Meanwhile, our Terran player, he's only got 1-1, but 2-2 is just about to finish off. So he's not too far behind. He's definitely lacking in the weapons though, so that's not going to be big. But he is getting air armor as well. So that should make the Vikings quite a bit better against those Colossus numbers. I don't know what he's doing there. He's trying to intercept this Nexus going down. Maybe he was going to have a shot at he was expecting the probe to come down and build it. And he is right, the probe is coming down to build it, but I don't think he expected the rest of the army to come out as well. So, not good for those two. He's going to send a drop over there, but this main army coming down, he is going to need all of his forces to deal with this. He's got a lot of Vikings, more than enough to deal with the Colossus, but his ground forces are looking a little bit weak, and there's a very large amount in his medevacs. So these medevacs will have to do something, because if this army goes in right now, I think the Terran is going to be in a lot of trouble. He's got a nice little wall thing here, but this is not going to help too much with Colossus. And Colossus, you know, they're not too bad, but really he needs to go in there, he needs to start getting out the workers. He's attacking the Nexus, and this is just a waste of firepower right there. He really should be getting the workers, but I think almost all of those workers got away scot-free. Meanwhile, these guys go in, they're going to try and repair the bunker, but yeah, the Protoss army sees that massive amount of Vikings. He does not want to get in range of the Vikings. His anti-air is not too bad, but yeah, he's just, whenever the Terran player gets in there though, he gets stormed and then he has to run out again, so it's a bit of to and fro. There's a bit of Zealots warping in at the back here. Looks like they ran in from this pylon up there, so very nice play here. Meanwhile, the Terran forces continue to go in, but they're meeting some Zealot defenses right now. So they're going to get slowly whittled down, and I don't think they're going to last very much longer. Please tell me these Zealots have leaks by now. Yes, he has managed to research leaks, so that is good for him. Meanwhile, this base goes down for the Terran player, and I think, no, I'm sorry, it did not go down. He lifted it off and he got it out of there, so great tactics there by the Terran player. I was going to say the Terran's behind, but he managed to save that command center. If you have a look at the income though, I think he lost a lot of harvesters back there. I don't think he saved any of these guys, and that has put him behind a lot more than losing the command center would have done. So he's really in a lot of trouble. Protoss player getting some Dark Templars. He's got to go in there and he's going to just wreck the Terran's world now with those Dark Templars. I saw a game, I think is no, I can't remember. Actually, I'm probably going to upload it after I upload this game, so I'm not going to spoil the game yet, but there is a game with some hilarious Dark Templar action coming up soon. I've already cast it, but I might wait a little while to upload it because this tournament stuff, man, I just love to upload them as soon as I can. One Marine going in, trying to wipe out some workers. That was not a very well planned attack there, and he really needs to go over here, and he really needs to get this expansion up and running again, and he needs workers so badly. He's getting some High Templar out now. He's getting 3-3, and here we go. The Protoss is just about to finish 3-3, and he's already got 1 shields as well, so very, very nice upgrades. These guys just about to get 3-3 as well, so the upgrades are looking exceptional for both players. Another pylon coming up here. So, yeah, just sending a bunch of zealots in from different sides. We've seen the Protoss doing that so far, and has been quite effective, because the Terran clump is, yeah, it's really a clump. He doesn't really leave many forces back at his main base. But here we go, the forces around here. The Viking numbers are still pretty good, but they're looking a little bit scarred by all the hits taken from the High Templar. We do have one Marine out there. He's sending those Marines out purely to scout. So that's an excellent suggestion here. The Zealot's going to do another attack, but the Terran is ready for them this time. And these guys are just going to get owned all over the place. This attack is going to fail. And the Protoss, I'm not sure if he wants to go in there. He wants to get this watchtower, see what the Terran's doing. He may decide to go for an attack if he gets a favourable position. On top of this ramp is pretty favourable, but still the Vikings, they're up in the air, so I don't know. It looks like he wants to go in again. But here we go, the Ghost coming in there, doing some magnificent snipes. Got, I think, a couple of High Templar there. So excellent job there from the Terran player. He got the Vikings to counter the Colossus. He got the Ghost to counter the High Templars. It's very hard to get all the counters and use them effectively, but so far Happy is proving that he is definitely up to the task right here. He is an exceptional Terran player, and he knows his counters against Protoss. And here we go, Protoss is building a bunch more Zealots and a couple of High Templar set to run in here. He's keeping the pressure on the Terran player. And what I haven't mentioned yet is that the Protoss is so much ahead in terms of economy, man. He's got like a 30 worker lead. He's on 4 bases versus the Terrans 3. And alright, I gotta say, the Protoss player needs to start throwing his army away. He needs to go in there, do some damage, and then re-macro up as fast as he possibly can, because he's got more minerals, he's got more gas, but you cannot throw minerals and gas at an enemy player and kill units with them. You got to throw actual units. You got to build military units and send them out. And saving up minerals and gas will not help you win the game unless you actually spend them. So here he goes. He's going to go in. These Zealots are just annoying the living crap out of him. And the Protoss player still not moving in, still not making the commitment. Geez, actually, here it is. This is kind of ironic. The Terran player, man, he's on 42 workers, but he's maxed out. So he's managed to get a much bigger army simply because he's got less workers. So his economy is a bit crappier than the Protoss players, but man, he's got all that extra supply to make guys. Oh, Dark Templars coming out there. There's some DTs over there. There's some DTs over here. Not good. The Terran force going to move out there with a little bit of guys. I don't think that was the full army of the Terran. No, the full army's over there, man. They're doing all sorts of good stuff. 2 DTs in here, though. He needs a scan. He needs to get these guys. The DT's splitting up, though. They know a scan is incoming. He scans in the middle. The DT managed to die there. This DT is out of range for now. But, yeah, it's very, very hard to tell if you kill the DTs or not. They're almost invisible when they are not moving. So he'd be very surprised if he sees that there. But there we go. That DT will come out like a bad freckle at some point. Start wiping out guys again, and the Terran will have to pull some forces back. He's not like a Protoss player. He can't just warp in units whenever he wants. He'll have to physically send some units back there to take care of that DT. And meanwhile, he'll probably be able to kill a few of these workers mining gas. But meanwhile, we've got a huge engagement in there. Terrans moving in. They're beautiful EMPs on all these units, sucking away all the shields. The Ghosts are going in there. And I don't think that many... Right, here we go. We got a bit of pause there. I'm not sure what that pause is about, but there's a lot of chat to do with that pause, so that's pretty cool. Bunch of Zealots in here, repairing up this bunker. The Zealots should all go down, and that should be fine. This Dark Templar still back there. The Terran with his superior army has gone in there, and he's done quite a lot of damage, but you can expect the Protoss player to really just back up a massive amount of forces really, really quickly. We know he's got the resources, and I saw 8 gateways going down before, so we know he's got the production capability. And if he can just out-macro the Terran player at this point, he may be able to do something. But with this massive amount of Marauders fully upgraded, I'm not sure, because Zealots are okay against these guys. Stalker's not that good versus Marauders, so he is going for Zealots and he's going for Dark Templar as well. He's massing these guys out, and with speed out there, he could do quite a lot of damage. and if he can continuously wear the Terran army down, but it's going to be hard because with so many medevacs out there, he doesn't actually have that many medevacs, but oh, actually he does. He's got quite a few. With medevacs on the field, yeah, this Terran army is just going to get continually rejuvenated. He doesn't need the extra economy because he can heal most of his army back up to full. But we're going to see a push here. He's going to go in. He's got a couple of High Templar and a couple of Dark Templar. They're going to go in. They're going to try and do as much damage as they can. But this is a bad place for the Protoss to attack. Right in this little closed off area, this little bottleneck here. He does not want to attack in there with a massive amount of zealots. He wants to get a flank all over the place. He's going to have to pull the Terran army out, and this is a good way to do it. Send in a bunch of zealots there and see if the Terran player tries to reinforce it. You run all your units in there, you do a flank on their backside. Here we go, you can see the units moving on the map. He sees the Terrans moving out. He wants to do a flank. The Terran moved a little bit. He nearly got fooled, but then he moved his units back in there. It is... he's not going to be worried. This bunker took care of the rest of the forces anyway. One zealot did not get the memo. He did not read the battle plan, and he is going to get wiped out. And the Protoss player still at a bit of a loss on how to take this Terran player out. Meanwhile, we've got another drop here, taking down this base. He took this base down. He's taken this base down. The Protoss's economic advantage is slowly falling apart, but he's going to move in here. He's going to do the stuff he needs to do. EMP is going down, just slaughtering the health of all of these guys. They're going to go down. And yeah, eventually the this massive army size of the Terran player, man, the fact that he had all these forces just worked completely against him. If we have a look at the income, Protoss was starting to lose workers, but he was not able to build up the massive amount he needed. And yeah, he really needed, I think, a bit more tech options at the end. He needed to produce a very fast army, very fast at the end when he started losing guys, and he did that. He produced zealots. But zealots, I don't think, were the answer. He produced a bunch of High Templars as well, and yeah, those guys got sniped the hell out of him. And I think if he produced Colossus, then the Vikings would have taken him out. So, yeah, man, I should probably not have my hand in front of my mouth while I'm casting. It probably ruins it, but yeah, man, I mean, to the Terran player, he had the Triple M. He had the Viking counter to the Colossus. He had the Ghost counter to the High Templars. He did everything correctly. And I am struggling to think about what the Protoss could do in this situation to win. He had the economic advantage, but the army composition of the Terran player, man, is just so good. It's just absolutely, absolutely awesome. I'm really trying to think. A Void Rays? No, they might have done okay, but there's still a fair amount of Marines in here, and he could have popped out a bunch more. So, no Void Rays. Carriers are a joke. Tempests don't do enough damage. He already had High Templars. Immortals would have been. Immortals, I think, would have been a fairly decent option. They chew Marauders out. They completely own those guys. Vikings can't do crap versus them. Ghosts can't do crap versus them. Yeah, I'm going to say a large Zealot Stalker army. Just Zealots and Stalkers. And a whole bunch of Immortals. Like, I'm estimating like 8 Immortals here. 8 to 10, I'm going to say. 8 to 10 Immortals. And the rest just Zealots and Stalkers. And I think you would have a half-decent chance to get these guys, to take these guys out. Maybe Archons as well, but Archons are really expensive, and they don't do that well against Marauders. Marauders are quite beefy, and they whip the hell out of Archons. They do quite a bit of damage to Immortals as well, but Immortals, hands down, will beat Marauders just because they're so beefy. And this 26 armor gets dampened down quite a bit by the Immortals' shields. So I'm going to say Immortals were the counter right there. Unfortunately, he didn't go for them. He just went for mass zealots, and yeah, it did not work out for them. So this is game 1 of round 1 of the semi-final between the Karont and Team Empire clans. Team Empire, the teams. And so far, Happy has been doing an absolutely excellent job for Team Empire, for those Russian dudes. And he is going to go out there, and we are going to see what happens in game number 2 between Happy and viPro and Pro. Is Happy going to take it to an early round 1 win for Team Empire, or is Pro got to hit back and take us to an ace match for round 1 and give Karont a chance to win this semi-final? We'll have to see what happens. Stay tuned. I will catch you guys later. This has been Hairy Muppet.